Mr. Divas. Hi, sinners and saints. It is me, Tom Hamlet, a sinner, and I'm here with one of my favorite saints to dive into all things Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Season 2. We've watched it all. Chelsea of Oh No Chelsea and I Am the Cute One is here back on the pod. Chelsea, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly am honored to be here today to discuss these wackadoodle women.
These ladies have ignited something in me.
I was worried because obviously season 1 was just lightning in a bottle, and I was worried where the story would take us next. And I'm happy to report that, the editors and producers, honestly, Bravo should take notes. I think they did a great job of calling out any behind the scenes shenanigans of these women trying to become savvy at self-producing.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the better attempts at a Bravo structure. You know what I mean? There are a lot of shows that have attempted, I feel like Selling Sunset really tries so hard to have that Bravo it factor, and it just does not land for me. This, however, the structure really works.
It really does. And you know what I love is that we don't really spend any time with the children of any of these women, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's very apparent that being mothers is a very important part of their identity, but we don't have to have those bullshit scenes of here's me on a play date with the kids. I think we only got that once this season.
Yeah, and I think they organically, I feel like they do really, I don't know that they like spending time together, but they know that they need to. And in a way that doesn't feel so canned like it can on Housewives, where they're like, let's go get lunch and talk about our feelings. They're just they got to film content, so they're going to just be together and film some content and then gossip about something. I don't know. It just, the structure of it works. But before we dive into everything, though, some housekeeping things. We will be spoiling. I don't know if you can say spoil on a reality show like this because everything has since come out, but we will be talking about everything, every episode, everything that's been covered. So if you haven't watched and you don't want to be spoiled, go check it out. It's on Hulu. And then if you're refusing to watch, but you just want to listen, enjoy, we will have a Bravo recap out this weekend. I will be going live this evening with my sister on YouTube. She'll be making her triumphant return to the podcast. So if you missed that on YouTube, go check it out on the podcast feed on Sunday. Okay, that was just some housekeeping things to get out of the way. Are we ready to really dive into these ladies?
I am so ready. And the fact that we started out, our very first event was the Gracie Lou Cowboy Pillows event party. I was like, okay, and we're back.
Every time I hear Gracie Lou, I just go Miss Congeniality.
Yes, Gracie Lou Freebush.
Yeah. So our cast members, we have everyone returned, thank God. Jen Affleck, Demi, Whitney, Michaela, Macy, Jesse, Taylor, Layla, and then we have added a new main cast member in the form of Miranda McHore.
Tom, I couldn't. Literally, a new bombshell has entered the villa. When that first Chiron popped up with her last name, you can't write this shit.
No. Now, for those that don't see, did you follow the swinging scandal on TikTok? You're not really on TikTok. I don't think I'm not. On TikTok.
No. I followed it through the lens of Real Moms of Bravo, who kind of broke it down to Instagram. Yeah, they were taking it from TikTok and they were reporting the news out.
Absolutely. If you guys need a good kind of highlight reel, I believe they have it saved on their Instagram. They cover it in depth, everything from the jump that was going down over there. They are greater than I didn't have the energy for that. But Miranda was also, when I say Miranda, I want to say it like Steve. Miranda. Miranda is the girl, the woman rather, that was one of the main swingers with Taylor, Frankie Paul, when the swinging scandal happened. So allegedly Miranda and Taylor fucked their husbands.
Just left the room.
Yeah,
he was like, I can't take it.
Oh yeah, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, my dog literally every time after I said Miranda the last time, he said, "I gotta get out of here." He just laid down right outside of the door. I just heard him too. No, so they fucked in a shower with their husbands all together, and then I think maybe swapped around a little bit.
It's like this really funny like loophole where they kind of are saying the same thing because all of the animosity comes from the fact that like they're accusing each other of lying. And initially, I guess Miranda did deny that any of it happened, but now her and her ex-husband are like, well, yes, it did happen, but we didn't do more than kissing, which is like technically true because they just kissed each other, but they were like fucking they were having like they were like how kids do parallel play. They were parallel fucking
Let's not
all
compare
over
it
the
to Children,
place.
Chelsea.
You know, like they weren't mixing and mingling, but like they were having an orgy. They just,
Yeah,
kept to their
I
side of
think
the
I think
station.
people think orgy means like everyone has an appendage in everyone,
Yeah, it doesn't need
but
to be human centipede.
like orgy is just kind of like we're all in the room fucking. That's my perception of it. And I mean I've not participated in an orgy, but I have friends
Guess
who
we should
have. And
ask Jesse Solomon.
we should
Does
ask
getting
Jesse
your toe
Solomon.
sucked count?
I'm sure he'd be happy to do a tell-all for a rate of $2,000 an hour or something on a podcast. He seems to be doing that pretty frequently. Speaking of, I dragged him a little bit on Instagram,
I saw
and
that.
Wes Wilson saw it. Oh God, forgot.
Don't you
Forgot he
hate when that
follows me.
happens?
I know because we became Insta friends like over a
Because he
year
went on
ago
your
now.
podcast, right?
Yeah, and I have his phone number. Um,
Oh.
and I will not use that though. That's
That's how
frightening
I
to
am
me.
with Katie Maloney. I'm like, I'm gonna
No, it's
respect
so
the
scary.
boundary. Yeah.
Yeah, I also have Victoria De Lesseps' phone number.
I love that.
Pre-COVID, pre-podcast, all that. It
No, but
was.
it's so scary to see a name pop up. I'll never forget when my scientists were still doing the weekly breakdowns of the science of likability, and Lindsay Hubbard got activated in my DMs and yelled at me for an hour about her line.
Oh, I forgot that she got mad at it.
Like, I thought we were kidding. And then I was like, oh, I'm getting like summer house Lindsay. I was so scared. I was sweating.
You got like 3 rosés in, Lindsay.
Uh huh.
The angels were whispering. Um, yeah. So yeah, so I think production wanted to bring Miranda into this because obviously we can get a little bit more out of the swinging drama. Miranda, for a girl that is in the center of a um sex scandal, she is one of the most even keeled, chill people I've ever encountered on a reality show, and quite
Yeah.
boring.
Apparently, she's like one of the only ones that didn't vote for Trump.
Yes, I heard that as well. Her and Layla.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. I kind of love her. I also feel like it was clear that her and Taylor were real friends. Like, I kind of wish the two of them would just like date and make each other happy. But like, it was sweet to see that they both really did a good job of like coming together. And obviously, it doesn't really end up great, but like she did seem very even keeled, and I loved her being like, yeah, I'm here for the money. Like, did you see
Yeah.
what she posted on TikTok when people were like accusing her of like clout chasing and just being in it for the bag? And she just posted a picture of herself from that Halloween party dressed as Mr. Krabs, and she was like, I mean, I showed you guys. I'm
I'm here.
money above all else.
Money above all else. Yeah. And that's something I really appreciate here is that the ladies are like, no, like, I'm going to come to the event because I want to be on TV.
Mhm.
There's no sort of pretending that we're not doing that.
Yeah, and I think that this season did a really good job of breaking the fourth wall when it needed to. And
Yeah.
I loved some of the conversations where they're like bringing in the show. Like, I loved Whitney being like, yeah, no shit, I waited until cameras were up to come and apologize. We're filming a show. What do you want from me?
Right. Totally. I think it really works. I think that Bravo could take some notes from the way they break the fourth wall here. Because here's the thing: it's like we like when they break the fourth wall on Bravo, but at the same time, sometimes the way they do it is so bizarre to me. Like it's
Right.
just they make it such a big deal where it's like, yeah, no shit, we're watching a television show. Like we're not dumb enough to not realize that like everyone has mics on and they're all filming. Like I just
Yeah.
think sometimes it's used like when Kyle Richards loves to use the fourth wall break. It's like how legendary, how epic. I'm like, it's really not that deep, and she's just like making it this big ordeal, and we throw
Yeah. Like, we
we throw
know
some
that
big
they are.
music behind it and like make
Yeah.
it seem like something that. But here
Yeah.
they're just like, no.
And
I
they
don't.
do it casually and they do it intentionally. Like they do it in moments where it's clear that the women are trying to pull one over on the audience, or they are trying to self-produce or like create a storyline that maybe isn't necessarily there. And like I love the fact that they bring up like Demi was a fan favorite, and I love that like it's showing in real time this like sophomore slump that is happening, like the second season curse of like, oh, you went from fan favorite, well, enjoy your villain edit.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And that is a really honest portrayal of like that sophomore slump that happens with housewives, and
Mhm.
they said the quiet part out loud with her. I thought the conversations that were being had around uh, contracts, show contracts, were really
Yes.
interesting too. So Demi and Jesse were best friends. They never appeared to be best friends to me. I think they just like, because they looked alike, they like claimed best friendness for like TV and storyline.
Mhm.
And well, they aren't really friends anymore. But
The only two that like resemble true friendship, like friendship that I can resonate with, is Macy and
Michaela,
Michaela's
yeah,
friendship. Yeah.
absolutely. They talk outside of the show, like you can tell.
Mhm.
But allegedly, um, m- sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Jesse and Demi,
Mhm.
there was like contract negotiations happening, and I think Jesse was asking for more, or she was going to quit, and Demi was like, well, I'll just take, I'm the fan favorite, if anyone deserves more, it's me. She doesn't need to be here on the show anymore. And
Yeah.
they all were, the reason they were all kind of like annoyed with Jesse for asking more money too is that Jesse like is the only one of them pretty much that has like they're not trying to start a business. She like actively has a business
Mhm.
and like has money. Like she doesn't need to be on this show as much as the others do necessarily. She's using the show in Housewives way to like
Mhm.
hawk her
Hair
hair.
extensions.
Also, her hair extension salon is named Jay Z. What? It's like Jay Z Party or something like that. It is such a crazy bonkers name. Oh, Jay Z Styles.
Jay-Z Styles, yeah. It sounds like a 90s R&B style
Yeah,
singer.
and not to be confused with Jay Z as in Beyonce's husband.
Correct.
We're
Yeah.
talking about a woman from Salt Lake City who creates hair extensions.
Mhm. True, true. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have this whole ordeal, and that comes up in one of their many getaways together that they're fine now, which I don't know how they got to fine now, but
Right.
there was a moment where Demi was like talking all this mad shit about her, which I was shocked that they talked contracts on camera, because as Bravo viewers, we're not used to that.
Yeah, and I thought it was so refreshing. Again, they didn't make it this big, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're getting this. Like, they did a really good job of mixing like on camera stuff we would usually see with then saying, like, hey, this is why there are tensions outside of filming. Because I think sometimes on Bravo shows, there is clear tension that probably has to do with contracts or who's filming with who or who's doing what or who said what on a podcast. But a lot of times, they try to like create an on-screen moment to like account for all of the tension behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I go back to that fucking Beverly Hills season where it was all about somebody crossing a bridge at Villa Rosa and Lisa Vanderpump telling somebody something off camera, but it was all like alluded to, and we never got like, hey, this is what's going on behind the scenes, which is why all the women hate each other when we picked up cameras to start filming the season. So I really liked that we got all of that negotiation stuff. And I mean, to me, whoo, talk about overplaying your hand. Like the way that she was coming for Taylor the entire season, like she just continued to tell on herself every step of the way.
Yeah. I agree. She is fame hungry, and she kind of owns it in many ways. I actually will get there because I want to talk a little bit more about the first block of the season. But
Mhm.
one thing I will say is I see so much online hate for Demi, but I kind of understand her point with a lot of things. I think she has kind of terrible delivery, and I don't think she should be fighting with Taylor's mom. And like, there's a lot of mess, and she's pretty clunky to me. But she reminds me of a Whitney from Salt Lake City. Oh my God, there's a Whitney here, but Whitney
Yeah.
of Rawlsick.
See, she reminds me of Lala.
And I could, it's like also for a previous
Yeah,
resident of Salt Lake
yeah.
City. Yep.
But it's just like it's Lala post like and kind of the same trajectory too of like when Lala came in, she was kind of an underdog. She was a fan favorite. Like I really resonated with her because she was kind of like speaking out and being the Greek chorus against the people that were like the establishment, right? And then
Yep.
as soon as she got a little bit of power, she became exactly what she used to hate, you
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah. So the first kind of block of the season, the big storyline, there are 5,000 storylines in this
So
season, which
many.
I love.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Keep it moving.
We have so
Keep
much
it
to talk
moving.
about. So the
Hmm.
first block of the season, we are focused on Miranda's return. It takes a little bit for her to kind of own up to the fact that they did swing. Uh, it's a lot of like talking in circles. You're like, I think we have a different definition of swinging. It's like, well,
It's very reminiscent of my podcast with Donnie, where like we sometimes are arguing, but we're saying the same thing. And it like takes us a minute to realize, like, oh, we're not actually arguing. We're just yelling at each other, repeating back what the other person's saying.
yeah, Kix and I are similar in that way. Um, no, so the big thing that happens at the top of the season, though, in the first block that we got two big things. We have a Halloween party to dive into, um, the Afflecks, and then, but firstly, I want to dive into the Frankie Paul household.
Oh, Tom.
So I think it's the first episode or the second episode, it's revealed that Taylor Frankie Paul, who is the star of this television program, and her,
Somewhere Demi is screaming into a pillow that you just said that.
I know, and I actually don't even think she's interesting
You
to me.
bite your tongue, Tom.
She says she is so like Snooki coded to me. Like she's
Yes.
where it's like
Yes.
I don't know that on paper you make sense to be the center diamond of this television program, but there's something about your mess that kind of just like
It's so natural. It
we
comes
can't
so
quit you.
naturally. Yeah, it's
Yes.
just it comes so naturally. There's not anything that's forced. And she is the leader of Mom Talk. I'm sorry. She just is. Like it's just so funny to see these women like clawing and vying and fighting for any sort of like leadership position. And then Taylor walks in, not even talking to half these people, says something and everybody like quiets down and listens. It just like it comes naturally to her.
Yeah, she is a gifted performer.
Mhm, mhm.
So she and her baby daddy Dakota of her second baby, they are kind of on and off. She still fucks him, even though like they were not together. They're living in the same house, and then she kicks him out. They go to a barbecue at her mom's house, which her mom also
Oh.
has had. I
She's
I
had the face off surgery.
Yeah, she is now she swapped with Nicolas Cage. Like they did a full face off. Like we
Yes.
will not be the same person anymore. I have to say though, I actually think it doesn't look bad. We're also seeing it like while it hasn't settled yet.
Mhm. I don't think it looks bad.
It
It's
just doesn't look
just
like her.
it literally is just a completely different face.
Yeah, it's like those there are these TikToks that I've seen of there's like a plastic surgeon somewhere in Asia. I believe it's in um like maybe the Philippines that they do he is a master at head transplants essentially. Like people will go in looking like 70-year-old women will go in and they come out and they look like a mom talk girl. Like it is so bananas what some people can do with
It's so
the art of plastic
frightening.
surgery. She got it done. I don't know where she found that money to get it done. I'm sure Taylor funded was her sponsor for most of it, but
But it's
it's
not even just the head transplant. It's that she clearly just like brought in a picture of Taylor and was
yes.
like, make me her.
Yeah.
Make me the person that I actively bully each and every day of her life.
It's crazy. And so they have this barbecue and her family loves Dakota. It really I don't really understand their love for him. I don't know if it's because I find him to be really skeezy and not a good guy. Where
He's
do you
Scott
stand with him?
Disick coded.
He very Scott Disick coded.
Like he was wearing a beige hoodie at one point, and I was like, "Oh, this is just present day Scott Disick."
He also was talking about how he's like lost 40 pounds because his depression. I'm like, I think you kind of made that up. You don't look any different than me.
Yeah.
You look like the same like annoying ass fuckboy. But anyways, they are talking about their relationship in front of the entire family, including her children
Hmm.
and her fucking stepdad.
Oh.
gets up in her face and is essentially like, well, do you think that the reason you guys have issues is because you're a slut and you like let him fuck you and all this stuff? And it is beyond.
Basically, she is saying, like, hey, this guy has lied to me, cheated on me, treated me poorly our entire relationship. Her family goes behind her back and invites him anyway. And then when she's like defending herself, her stepdad like takes Dakota aside and then is like, well, like, don't you think you kind of deserve to be treated like shit because you're a dirty, stinky whore that everybody hates and that isn't worthy of love, you dumb bitch? Like, it was so upsetting to watch this man who she considers her father. It's her stepdad, but like that is her father figure.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of one of those moments where you were like, "Oh, I see now. I see why like
It's
she
all
is the way
making
she
sense now.
is."
Yeah. It's dark. And he just has like Trump supporter face to me.
100%. Yeah. And she has a brother who like talks in like Hallmark card quotes. The
Yeah.
only person I feel like I think she should ditch the entire family except for her one sister.
Her sister seems very sweet. Mom, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. You
When
gotta.
she showed up in those tight, and I know we'll get to it, but that last party when she showed up in those tight little jeans, shaking that ass with that present, I was like,
What's her
oh god,
name? What's her name? It's like
like
Leah or
it's
something.
like Lynette, but it's spelled, or like Leanne, but it's spelled
I
like
think. Oh, yeah.
Linn
I
or
think it is Aunt.
something.
Wait, Taylor, Frankie
Something
Paul.
about those Mormons, they love the letter N. They're gonna throw in as many N's in a name as they can, and a Y if it's possible.
Yeah, Lee. Oh, so it is Leanne, but it's spelled Liann.
Why?
Why not, Chelsea? Why not? It's what Joseph Smith would have liked.
That's true.
It's funny though, because Joseph Smith has one of the most basic names kind of given to a
Right.
person, and then all of these people have the most like jumbled up letters spelled as names.
Right. From
What is
Joseph
that?
Smith comes Brandolins,
Yeah, they all have a Lynn, a Brandolin, or like they put a Y in the middle, like
like
Macy and Michaela.
Brantley.
Yeah.
They love just like lots of consonants. An inappropriate number of consonants to vowels, you know?
Like what would what would our names be? Like you know how on Vanderpump Rules everyone has a name but like it's off. Like Jason is Jax, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that I would be Chelsea, but it would be spelled CHELSYYYYYE.
or like Y and then IE after it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that probably an
Like
IE.
Chelsea. It's spelled like
Mhm.
Chelsea.
Yes, yeah. And
Tom.
maybe yours would be just spelled TOHMY. The Y silent though.
Yes, yeah. Or a Y maybe at the beginning. You just don't say it.
Oh yeah, yeah, love that.
So yeah, and then we get this Halloween party. Now, in the midst of all this, so Jen and Zach Affleck, um, if you didn't watch season one, they are not related to Ben Affleck, by the way.
We
They
haven't been proven. Jury's
yeah,
still out.
jury's still out, I guess, but they're not related. Um, Zach has a gambling problem. Jen is getting slut shamed around every corner. Jen also, never forget, she claims she's from the hood.
Mm. Brought that one back.
Brought that one back. And Jen is like, if they had had a reunion, I'm actually happy they didn't have a reunion between seasons 1 and 2 because a lot of that drama carried over. Like they had to work it out on the show.
I kind of love that they have like the old school Jersey
Yeah, they
Shore
just keep
cycle
filming.
where like everything, like we got a to be continued after season 1, we get a to be continued after season 2. Like I kind of love that we don't get a reunion because nothing gets resolved and we just pick right back up.
Yeah, and they're still filming apparently. Like
I love that.
they kept filming and then I think they took a little break and they're currently filming the new season. Like I think we'll get the new season like in the fall. Like I
I
think
love
it's gonna be
that.
quick. No, so Jen and Zach separated between the
Mhm.
seasons because of his gambling issues and his judgment of her going to a Chippendale show while they were in Vegas. And then
Basically, he let his mask slip on camera
yeah, he
and
did.
he had to suffer the consequences. And then Jen had millions of people in her comment section being like, leave him, he's evil.
Yeah. And she lets him back into her life at the beginning of the season. And they go to Bone Zone. And she gets pregnant in one of the darkest things I have seen on reality TV in a minute. She takes her pregnancy test like with the cameras there, and she is not okay. Like
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh no. I
Yeah.
do not want to be pregnant right now."
Right. Yeah, it was so bleak. And I just feel like it's so wild to me. Like, I was just taking some glances because I'm a masochist, just some glances at general comment sections, and people like really fell for this propaganda that he is like the good guy and she's this like pathological liar. I think it is just I think it's diabolical because I think that what has happened is not that he's made any changes, but I think that he has now learned how to play the reality TV game
Yeah.
and wait until cameras go down to lose his shit. But I feel like him dropping out of med school and basically like moving in to quote unquote support her career, that's so manipulative because number one, he can always now hold that over his head, over her head of like, well, I dropped out of medical school for you.
Yeah.
Number two, so you're just letting her support you. And number three, now you're just always going to be around and like able to just be proximity wise around her to control her.
I know he was kind of like an ancillary character last season now it's essentially every time she's filming he's with her because I think
Hmm.
he
And
like you're saying
always
he
looking
just
at the camera. Did you notice that?
he's so
He is
fucking cool.
always
He
looking
has
at the camera, which just shows how aware he is that there are
yeah
cameras.
he's got real murder suey vibes, I gotta say.
Can't so clear, but yes, cosign. Don't love
There's
the murder suey, but
there's just a Dateline vibe to him. There's a
mhm.
Dateline. He's got Dateline eyes that I just can't unsee, and I want her to get out. I actually need her to get out. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, she did a whole people spread about their pregnancy announcement where they're like holding each other. Like they are better than ever. Apparently, they're trying to make it seem like everything's fine. But then it's hard to
Yeah.
see that happen, and then watch this show where like she is.
She is like suicidally depressed because it's so uncomfortable in her house and he's so toxic.
It's beyond. So once again, one of the big things that they had issues with last year was that when they were in Vegas, they went to Chippendale's show and they they like talked to the guys after or before. Um and he got so pissed about it. So to make light of it, quote unquote, Demi and Jesse decide that they are going to have their husbands with the assistance of a Chippendale dancer, do a Chippendales dance at the Halloween party that they're throwing.
Which is so messy and so shady, and basically just doubling down from their behavior last season where they put her in this position. And it's always done under this like faux, like women's empowerment motif. Like, as one of them, I can never tell them apart, once said, empowering women is like, step into your freaking power and tell the truth. Like, if they were so concerned about her safety last season, they shouldn't have put her in that position. And then this season, that whole Halloween party, again, they just told on themselves of their true motives because it's not to like help Jen and Zach's marriage or to like make light of the situation. It's like, no, there were, if you were including them in it so that they could be like laughing at themselves, like the way that they did with dressing up as J-Lo and Ben Affleck, like that is funny because they
Yes.
are owning that part. But no, what you did was just surprise Zach again on camera, which like you've been saying that you feel like he's like diabolical beforehand. Like, why would you do this again?
No, it's not nice. And like they're just trying to they just don't like Jen, which that's the other
Yeah.
thing that is so interesting about this show is like they don't really try to mend fences with their coworkers. They're just like, I don't like her. Like Michaela from episode 1 to episode 10 is like, we can always vote on Whitney being a part of Mom Talk. I will always vote no. So just like know that.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I do wish, and I know we'll talk about Michaela, I do wish that she would let Whitney take up less brain space. Like, I do think it verges on obsession in the hatred type of way. And hey, game recognized game. I understand that impulse of like, I fucking hate this person and I want to actively sabotage them at every turn. But like, you hired a sourdough bread coach, baby girl. Maybe like the opposite of love is apathy, not hate. And right now
Chelsea,
we're really on the hate side.
yeah, and Chelsea, guys, Chelsea did not make that up. That is she is a sourdough bread coach. Clarify.
I love this show.
It's so good. So yeah, they have this Halloween party. And Jessie and her husband dress up like is it Jessie or is it Demi who do it?
It's Jessie and her husband, and then also Jen and Zach do it, which
Yeah, they all
I
dress
thought that was
up
kind of funny because
yeah.
it made Jessie look dumb as shit.
Well, if the wig fits. I can't stand her. I actually didn't mind her so much last season. She bothers me so much.
More than Demi?
Yeah. More,
really?
Like a lot more. Demi at least like is a villain and kind of like is down to play. Jessie is like I find her to be so phony for the show. Like
she's very Gretchen Wieners.
She is extreme. I mean, she reminds me of Gretchen Rossi. Like truly like making up shit for the show. Like I just think she is so
Gretchen Wieners with White Walker eyes.
Oh my God. And she needs to figure out what the glam for her too. It stresses me out because I think some of these women, they kind of just look like, I think, first of all, the women are all beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
But and all of them have good like source material and a lot of them don't stray too far from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taylor Frankie Paul just looks like that. Like I'm looking at their faces here. Like they at the bottom of the screen, like Whitney is stunning. Like she just looks like that, like cherub face, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jessie is beautiful at her core, but I think she wears so much like contour. She's putting in contacts. She's doing drag. She's doing full drag regalia. And I don't really know why necessarily. I don't know. There's something about her phoniness that really irks me.
Oh, that's so interesting. She's kind of like a non-factor to me.
Yeah, she's a non-factor. I think but then towards the end of the season, we start to realize that she may have been a part of a hookup cheating scandal. And
I have a conspiracy theory, but I will save it towards the end. Okay. Yeah.
So we get the Halloween party. Chase Miranda's ex comes. Who Chase? Okay, quickly. This is like Game of Thrones essentially. But so Miranda and Chase are married. They swung with Taylor Frankie Paul and Taylor Frankie Paul's ex-husband. The swinging scandal made Taylor Frankie Paul and her husband break up. Chase broke up with Miranda and went to go confess his love for Taylor Frankie Paul. Because they, I think, canoodled at some point during the swinging. Mm-hmm. And Taylor was like, no, I don't fuck with you. I fuck with this guy, Dakota. And so then Chase lost 2 women and now he's with some other girl who looks just like everyone else. But
then in the meantime, he dated, who did he date?
Oh, he hooked up with Layla.
With Layla, yeah. Because Layla fucking hates him too.
And Layla's down to fuck too, though.
Not have an orgasm, but
well,
she will.
No, she's trying to have an orgasm. So she just kind of is like, yeah, I'll hook up with you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Chase is at this party because Jessie, once again, is a phony fucking nightmare and she invites him. And so they get in a fight. The police come because they're screaming outside. Which
is so funny because the whole time they're setting up this Chippendales dance. So then we did a cut to commercial essentially where it was like, oh my God, the cops are here. Or maybe it was like the preview for the episode. Oh my God, the cops are here. And I was like, okay, it's going to be one of those dumb like cliffhangers that it's like, oh no, it's the stripper. It's the Chippendales guy. But no, it was like legitimately the police.
No, legit. I thought that too. I was like, oh, it is full on strippers. But then I was like, do they have strippers? Honestly, do they have strippers in Salt Lake City? I don't know if they do. But
then like the longer the bit went on, I really thought it was the Chippendales dancer for a long time. And then they were like, talking about like noise ordinances and talking about like the neighbors and yelling, and I was like, man, they really get into character.
They're leaning in.
Like, wow, the pull-off clothes, they've come a long way with the technology because this looks legit.
And Jessie delivers an actual. I'll give it to her. She does deliver a funny line. She says to the cop's face, she goes, "Have you guys watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?" It did make me laugh. I was like. Because she was like trying to explain what was really going on, and she was like, "It'd just be easier if you guys watched the show." Do you?
Here, give me your phone. I'll give you my Hulu
Yeah,
subscription
yeah. Here's
password.
my Disney Plus bundle. I'll take
Yeah.
it. So then, so that's kind of like the first chunk. The middle chunk of the
Wait,
season.
I do want to talk
Oh,
about
go
with
ahead.
the Chippendales dancer. Then it gets pinned back on Jen because they basically were saying,
Oh,
because this
yes.
is the big like catalyst for why now Demi and Jesse are like allowed to say they hate Jen, was like
Yeah.
they start calling her this like pathological liar. Okay, I want to know your opinion because, in my opinion, the way it was presented, when they kept showing the flashback scenes, they were saying, like, okay, just want to make sure it's good with you. My husband is going to dance, like, dress up for Halloween as a Chippendales dancer. I feel like that is a way different conversation than being like, and then he's going to put you in a chair and grind on you with another husband and a Chippendales. Like, I feel like, again, you should know that, like, her relationship is rocky and tenuous. Like, it felt like they were saying that they got her consent when, like, not really.
Yeah, I see kind of all sides of it, to be honest, though, because I do think that she's a little pushover people pleaser. So she was like just smiling and nodding through it, and so they took that as like that she approved it, you know. But then
Yeah.
also like she should have told Zach, but she's
Yeah.
scared of Zach,
But
which
she's
is
scared
sad.
of Zach. So, and this is the one time where, like, I understood in this moment if Zach felt disrespected because that is like really throwing it in your face. And yes, he signed up to do the show and all of that. But again, he learned his lesson, and his lesson wasn't to be less of a Dementor. His lesson was be a Dementor once cameras go down, because then Jen's talking about like he lost his shit. But I do think that like it's this vicious cycle of Jen is traumatized and scared of him, so she doesn't tell him what he needs to hear, but then she's also a people pleaser, so she tells the girls what they want to hear,
No.
and then it's like round and round and round she goes.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I think there's a couple different sides to it, but in the end, it is kind of also like her last kind of feud and moment on the show, because then she decides to take a break from filming, um,
Yeah.
which I think was the right move. She's not in a good space
No, I
in
mean,
the
it
showbiz side.
worried me just because at least when she's filming, we kind of like have eyes on her of like what's going on. But like, I don't know. I know that I think she ended up checking herself into like a mental health facility.
Oh, that's good.
So I hope that she is doing okay, because I can't imagine the stress of having to navigate all of that and then do it publicly, and then like all of the fallout in between too.
Yeah, it's tough, and Zach just fucking sucks. I can't
He's
stand him.
so ugh.
I
And his
really
family 100% told people that they were related to Ben Affleck.
1000%, and they
Yes.
1000% aren't.
Right. And if I were Jen marrying into that family, I would also be telling everybody.
Yeah, and but the girls are like, and you lied about that. You're such a liar. It's like, no, she is married to a liar.
Right.
She is just saying what her husband says. She's
Yeah.
submissive to a lying ass husband.
Yeah, it's just
I
so
can't.
interesting because I know that like Mom Talk has gotten their branding down where they're like, we're fighting the patriarchy and questioning the church.
They're not fighting the
No, they're
patriarchy.
not.
Y'all voted for Trump.
It took one meeting with Zach Affleck for them to be like, you know what? Jen is a stupid bitch.
They are something about like Trumpism that's really taking over is like the women all become more like plasticky and like more like they all look
Stepford
similar.
Wives.
Yeah. And the
Have you
men
seen
all become like really, really ugly.
Have you seen what's going over on Dear Media recently?
I have the
It's
trad wife
spooky.
and
It's
it's
spooky scary over there.
y'all.
A
We honestly
complete
shouldn't say their
talk
name.
about a
We
head
should bleep their name.
transplant.
Y'all, it is well, I have this big theory. I have this big theory that most I would say like most of like influential online people, influencers or podcasters that just like have like a desire for fame necessarily, not like their content, are willing to sell their soul to any sort of alignment that will just get them views and anything. So I think people are just selling their soul to this to Maha. Maha is
Mhm.
Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah. Donnie didn't know that, and he said recently, I think in a upcoming episode. He was like Amanda Bynes, "Meh," and now it's all I'm going to be able to hear when I
Oh my
see that
god. Yeah.
acronym.
Yeah, I just think that there's like this they're all leaning into there's so much money to be made in that space. And
Hmm.
so these dear media, they're like, well, let's just like full lean into trad wife, submissive, like crazy traditional like marriage rules, and I think people will watch and people talk about it. Even if people don't, even if people are talking about it negatively, like we
I
are
mean,
right
we're
now,
talking
we're
about it right
talking
now.
about it,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
working.
It's just so interesting because the main podcast that we're speaking of, They Who Shall Not Be Named, I used to listen to their content back in the day, like way, way back in the day when podcasts first like popped up on my radar.
Yeah.
And the rebrand that's taken place is wild because it used to be like, who cares what he looks like anyway in selfie photos. And now it's like, I never go on girls' trips because I just want to be with my husband all the time.
It's so weird. And it's one more thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like so much of the MAGA and Maha movement are so built on this idea of like freedom of speech and just freedom. Like the freedom is their biggest like word that they use.
Mhm.
There is no one
They
more
would have loved
enslaved to
Lindsay.
a system than the
Yeah.
MAGA and the Maha people. They are enslaved to a hierarchy that they cannot escape anymore. And it's like, you guys are the least free people in this whole operation.
You're in a cult.
Yeah. Like, that's the part that is so confusing to me. Is like, you are not really looking for freedom. You're looking for a space for you to just live in this like white plastic bubble and be like not approached by real life problems and drink your coconut milk, 2 pumps of vanilla soda that you get at Squirt. What's it called? Split Squirt.
I don't think it's squirt, but
We're gonna
metaphorically,
call it Squirt.
spiritually speaking, squirt. Yeah.
I don't know. That's my soapbox for today. These
They would
girls are
love Lindsay
enslaved.
Hubbard's freedom dinner.
Yeah. Oh my god. They need a freedom dinner. They would be at the freedom dinner and they would be like the meme from Euphoria, like, is this play about us? Anyways, back to MAGA girls that we can tolerate. So the middle chunk of the season, so Jen departs. We are kind of just bopping around everyone's personal stories. They go on a trip, some mountainous place, I believe, and just film TikToks in a cabin. And I threaded this, and I should pull it up. Wait, actually, I think I can pull it up. But they they have one of the craziest meals made for them, and by crazy I mean blandest looking. Did you clock this, or did you see
I
my
did
thing about
not
it?
clock that. No, no, no. Tell me, please.
Okay, wait, we're gonna do a quick pause.
Well, now that I have a new phone, I can have both Instagram and Threads downloaded at the same time on my phone, so I'll be able to see more of your content. I had to pick and choose before.
That means so much to me. So they go somewhere in the mountains, and they are served this.
Oh my God.
Now, if you are listening to this and you want a visual, just go to my threads. I tweeted that I said that I threaded that it's the whitest show on television. It's that photo. I just kind of want to take some time here. This plate was the plate that really kind of took me back. Now,
that really that sums it all up. They've got all of the white person food groups accounted for.
Green beans. No, I think of all the products here on the plate, we have green beans, we have like a wedged steak potato probably, and then I pray chicken. That's what that is. The green beans look the most okay to me. Like they look like there's something on them.
But those green beans, can I tell you about them as somebody who grew up in a white household with them? Shout out to you, Mom. Love you. Got a lot of good qualities. Worst cook in America, perhaps. Those green beans, let me tell you what's going to happen when you're going to take a bite.
Yeah.
It is somehow going to be soggy and stretchy at the same time. It is not going to be a crisp. It's going to be a bite, and it's going to take you a minute to chew.
That's tough to hear because I really like the snap,
Yeah, we're not getting the snap here.
Okay.
Certainly.
Now the chicken is kind of where I start to. I'm like, do we need to call people about salmonella? Like, what is happening? What happened to this chicken?
That chicken was not, well, number one, not seasoned
No,
whatsoever.
no, no. Let's kind of make that clear. There is no salt on the plate because
No.
they when they go to New Orleans, they make a comment about like they had the shrimp and they're like, "Wow, there's a lot there." Like it's like like
They're like trying not to say spicy, but like there has
yeah,
been a bit of black pepper added.
right. And once again, to remind everyone, this food that we're looking at was made by a chef they
Hmm.
hired, which I'm
Hmm.
sure they gave their I gave they gave like their preference sheet like on Below Deck, and they were like, we just want the blandest food possible for
I would
this
love to see
day.
these women's preference sheet.
Oh my,
Like we
we need
need
them on Below Deck.
64. Oh my God, we need them on Below Deck.
Yeah.
We need 64. We need access to 64-ounce cups for our morning sodies.
Yep.
We will need a full soda bar. No salt or any seasoning. Don't need to worry about that, Chef Ben. But we would also like to have a ketamine drip available on request.
Love ketamine. Oh, that was one other thing Jen and Zach did before they said bye to the television
Which, can I tell
program.
you that this is so dangerous? I
Is
know
it
somebody
really? I
that's
don't know
getting
much about it.
certified in ketamine therapy, and this,
Wait,
like,
you
you're
are? You are? Or you know
no, no,
someone?
no, I know somebody that
Got it.
that is. Um, no, they like, you need somebody. So basically the way ketamine works is like it locks in whatever conversations or thoughts that you have during the process, which is why it's so successful. Like that's why it's so helpful with depression, with addiction, because like whatever realizations you're having while doing ketamine treatments, your brain is usually like malleable, but in these moments, like it locks in.
Yeah.
So you need somebody there, especially if you're doing it as a couple, to be the facilitator, because like had he said something like really harmful, then it would have like cemented. It's like it doesn't seem like they are doing the protocol where like you have a ketamine treatment and then you talk to your therapist and then like it
Yeah, it's
seems
like a
like you're
med
just,
spa.
yeah, you're going to a med spa and doing drugs.
Yeah, that is the vibe that it gives me. Like what so say she went to a dark place. What are they gonna do? Like it seemed
Right.
like there was no one in there to do anything.
She was left alone.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm not sure. I don't know that ketamine is for me in any form. So, and especially not in a room with Zach Affleck.
No, certainly not. I don't want to be doing any drugs with that man.
So our two like big events in this like middle section, we have the Saints and Sinners party.
Mhm, mhm,
We also have a big uh Secret Lives of Mormon Mom Talk Bake Off,
mhm.
which
Can we
I
also
actually
talk
really liked
about,
that.
I really liked that too. I thought it was super fun, but also in this middle section, Whitney gives birth and Mama said, "Get this baby out of me. Time to clock in."
Yes.
I cackled. I was gleeful, Tom, because you know that I am problematic, and she was my very favorite last season. I
Oh,
thought
same.
she
I
was
really like her.
she's a cartoon villain. She's like Wile E. Coyote, like trying to catch that roadrunner, and she's gonna get the anvil on her head every single time. Like she is so fucking funny to me.
Yeah, and just a reminder, everyone, Whitney is the one who did a TikTok dance next to her baby on a
My
ventilator.
baby has RSV. Um, but the scene that I was like, and we're back. After the Halloween party, they're filling her in and they're telling her like the cops are called, like police showed up. And she has this talking head where she goes, "You know, when you're giving birth, it's just you and the baby, and you realize what's important in life and being around all of this." And you think, surely she's going to say, like, "Wow, I'm so glad to just focus on my family," or "I just am so proud to be a mom of a new baby." She goes, "Being around all this, I miss it."
She's such a demon. She is a fame whore demon.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, and guys, she goes to some event they have 2 days after she gave birth.
She's still wearing that diaper.
They go on a party bus and they're like, girl, she's like trying to do a splits on a stripper pole. And Demi's like, hey, Diva, like you could like and bleed, you could die. Like, don't do that.
But you got to admire the chutzpah. I think that some people on Bravo should take notes of what she's
I
willing to
agree.
do.
These women, this is what's missing on Housewives these days in general, and well, honestly, all Bravo is like our reality stars have gotten too comfortable with the fact that they get to be on this television program and that
Mhm.
they just get that check for being like who they are. Like there's an unwillingness to like show up to work sometimes.
Yeah,
Like
as one Kimberly Kardashian once said, nobody wants to work these days.
correct. And a lot of these housewives don't want to work, and it bothers me. I don't know if you've seen this clip, but Cynthia Bailey went on Nene Leakes' talk show, and she Nene asked her about what it's like to film. They were talking obviously about filming Atlanta, and then she was like, "Well, what was it like to film with Beverly Hills? Because you filmed like you've been on set there essentially for like a couple times now." And she was like, "It is so easy." She was like, "They show up and they just hang out. They just chill. There's like nothing happens." She's like,
Yeah,
"I just like go and have a glass of wine and just like talk about nothing and then we go home. It's like the easiest paycheck." And I'm like, that is the problem.
right.
Like we
That's
need to show
actually
up.
inherently what's wrong.
Yes, we've actually gotten to the bottom of what is wrong. It
Mhm,
just can't be
mhm.
this way. Whitney, all these girls, they're like, we gotta be there. We have to be at every function. Let's talk about the CMA drama.
Okay.
So Taylor Frankie Paul gets invited to the CMAs to the red carpet and to present with Luke. Was that Luke? I don't know country music. She was
Somebody.
presented with some country singer. She did a bad job, by the way. They
I
had like a
find her
little.
so charming.
They had a little bit, and she was like, "There's nothing like the drama of the Salt Lake City ladies."
Which
Regardless,
tells me once again, she is authentic on screen because we've now seen her read a teleprompter.
you
So what we're
bring up a good
seeing
point.
on the show, that's not rehearsed or staged because
No,
now we've seen her acting.
this is her. This is her. And she collaborated with the CMA Instagram and posted a picture of like, "Can't believe I'm here." And
Mhm.
she lost her mind because none of the Mom Talk girls liked the post. Now, some of the Mom Talk girls, they were texting her before and after, just
Mhm.
privately, but no one liked the post, which brings me to like a larger overall question that I have about this show and about kind of the world in 2025. Because Taylor Frankie Paul asked, "Is private support?" Or no, Michaela, who I love, Michaela, and I want to spend some time with her in a second. But
Mhm.
Michaela says, "Is private support not as important to you as public support?" And Taylor Frankie Paul was like, "They're equal. Like, if you check in with me like privately, like you should also be checking in with me publicly because like that's what we're doing here." And I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about all that. What are your thoughts on that?
So I agree. For me personally, public support is bullshit and I want you checking in with me behind the scenes. Like I could care less if you like my real life friends and family like don't follow my podcast and don't do all of that, but like they are there for me. And if I were to send a link and say, "Hey, can you like this thing?" they would, but like I would prefer, and I think you and I have had this conversation on this show before, but like I'm not the person that I'm not going to be posting a bunch of like happy birthday stories, but I will send
Yes.
you a text or I will give you a call. And I think that's fine. I think though, in the context of this group that is Mom Talk, where they have built their whole lives on an online persona, I think it is a business. And I think that her reaction, of course, her reaction is never appropriate or like equal to what her perceived slight is.
Yeah.
But I do think that like yeah, the silence was loud. Like these women stay on their phone, they stay online. They are an online business. They know that likes and comments feed into how much you get paid, how many brand deals you get. And so I understand from this point of view, like we know these women are not friends. They are
No.
business partners and part of the business that they're in is this like weird currency that is likes and comments. So I agree with Taylor that it seemed intentional and it did seem interesting that not one person like said anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And Something that happened earlier in the season that we didn't talk about was Macy announced that she got a book deal,
Mm,
and I would say most of the girls are happy for her. One of which, who was deeply not, was Demi.
yeah.
Like, it's clear that there is real competition with these ladies about who can garner the most. It's not even about
Fame.
money. It's like fame. It's they don't. I think they all
And
are
I
like
wouldn't say
comfortable.
fame, but like internet attention.
Yes. Like they want to be able, they want to be the one that gets to tell their story. They want to be the one that gets to do this, do that. And I do think that they all wish they had been at the CMAs and not just say
Hmm.
that Frankie Paul.
And I
Um,
think that they have a mentality of like, there's only so many seats at the table and we're fighting for those seats rather than like, we are all going to get our chance because we are an ensemble and because we're all part of this group. But do you think that Demi lost her mind when she saw the promo of how they're like in a Mighty Ducks V shape and she's like in the back wing?
1000%.
Yeah. And I think the producers did that on purpose.
Yeah, especially because like Michaela, Macy was already like our second fiddle like last season. It makes sense to me that she's
Mhm.
near the front.
Macy reminds me of like Whitney Port from The Hills, where she's kind of like our Greek chorus. She's
Yeah,
the likable one. She's the one that we like see through her eyes a little bit.
totally. And Michaela kind of, I think, has had probably the best season out of all of them. She has real authentic storylines. She's being very honest and real about who she wants to be with when it comes to work, essentially. And
Hmm.
I really love her. Michaela, let's talk about her a little bit. So she had revealed, and trigger warning for sexual assault. She reveals this, that the skin condition that she had been dealing with last season was a trauma response, like a to everything that happened to her when she was a child, and that she was sexually assaulted as a child, I think by a family member.
It seemed that way. It seemed like it was like sexual abuse. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then she talks about going to her mom and not being believed. And that was kind of like the last time she spoke up.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was about the skin condition that she made. I can't remember how she made that connection. I think it
But
was through
basically she was
therapy,
saying
but
like, yeah, and she said it was like not necessarily autoimmune, but like because she was repressing all of these feelings. Like if you repress feelings long enough, they need to come out in some way. And if they're
yeah.
not coming out through like therapy or expressing it, like her skin was literally just inflamed and like going crazy because she was like holding in all of this trauma in her body. I'm always so impressed when people can talk about this in general, but like especially on television.
Yeah. And her family seems so wonderful. Like when they were talking about everything with her, and I just shout out to her. I do think she seems like a genuinely like very, very kind human.
Yeah. And
Um,
her husband does seem very supportive and they seem
yeah,
very sweet together. One concerning thing is that she says that this abuse went on until she was 14 and she finally said something and she ends up pregnant by 16 to someone that was 21 at the time. Like just even that window, I'm like like of course you didn't have time to process.
yeah. Jesus, I forgot about that connection
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's so a lot of these women also have had very, very early pregnancies. Like
Mhm.
um not early as in like 2023. I'm talking about like 18.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting like that for a religion that is so strict about like public persona, like that is a big pillar of this, of the modern version of Mormonism, is like public perfection and things like that.
Mhm.
It creates such rebellious behavior, and these women, it's tough. Like they have to go through being a mom so young
Mhm.
in a religion that doesn't support them.
Right. They talk about that like women's group that they all sign up for when they're like teenagers essentially to like make those connections and learn how to be a woman. But it's just I mean, I do think that like I poke fun at it and it is snarky when I just love the like they always come back to like, well, this is what mom talk is about, or like she's not supporting the tenets of mom talk. But I do think that in a kind of side door type of way, they are opening up conversations about like the church.
Totally. Yeah, there's later towards the end of the season, Jesse brings up they start talking about the Book of Mormon and whether they believe that it's like real.
Yeah.
And Jesse's like, I don't really buy most of it, to be honest with you.
I thought Whitney was going to lay an egg right on that table.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I think that is one of my critiques about the show is I think I wish we dove a little more into religion aspect of it.
I don't know if they're ready for that. Like, I would rather it come with time. I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I think that this is, again, I think the thing about the show, it's all extremely authentic. Like, I think that they even talked more openly this season than they did last season. There were some people with like the sinners and all of that, but even the people who were more adjacent to the church or still in the church were more open to talking about it. So I think it's just kind of a slow build. And it's like anything of like when you start questioning things that were taught to you as Bible, it takes a little bit of like detangling at first before you have enough threads to start pulling at the fabric. And I just think I don't know. I think this show is like, it's just so interesting how on one hand it is so silly and vapid and stupid, but then we really are tackling these like very real issues too.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And once again, it comes back to the fact that these women are willing to like show up to work and like do their job.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really speaks to what they bring to the table. Okay, and then lastly the back half of the season. So we have a trip to New Orleans. We have a Christmas party where Leanne shows up. We have Demi versus Taylor Frankie Paul, and lastly we'll end on Layla chatting with Maurice or whatever his name is.
Did you watch that show?
I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 to kind of. I think I was in a dark place. And I actually didn't hate it. If I think I would have continued watching if Lisa wasn't there.
Why? Like, why can't, it's like she can't help herself. Like, there's no need for you to be there.
No, and
Lisa.
the structure of the show is fun. Like it is a below deck type structure where it's like we have guests. They want themed dinners. We're gonna make cocktails. We might hook up with them, and then they go home. Like it goes down easy. It's just why on earth is Lisa Vanderpump walking around the house carrying a dog, being like, "Oh boys, what are you doing today?" It's just it's very weird. So.
Yeah.
But this guy Mauricio, what I don't know what his name is. I'm looking. I wrote it down somewhere, but Marciano. Excuse me.
Okay.
He is the Jax of the show.
Yes, clearly.
Which
the man that comes off the snowboard slopes and pours himself a pint of tequila.
Yep, that's him. So yeah, they go to New Orleans. Taylor Frankie Paul doesn't go because she's mad at the girls. Because Demi chewed her out on text, and this gaggle of girls in New Orleans was really confusing to me. I don't know why they picked that location.
Yeah, it's also so interesting. Like, I always have to remind myself that none of them are drinking. So it's just so curious to see them like going out to nightclubs and screaming and dancing and yelling and coming back home. And I'm like, oh, you were dead sober.
Yeah, I know.
Except for one vagina joint. But besides that.
Oh my God. Well, there's something kind of beautiful about like they're not ever being exposed to alcohol, that they can just like live life without that being a presence.
It's youth group energy. They're just silly and it's like, oh, I'm so hyper right now.
It's like, oh my God, that Diet Coke really went to my head. Let's go to a strip club. Yeah, so they go to New Orleans. The only person who really living their fullest life here is Layla, which we haven't given Layla much time and energy. Layla is an interesting
a lesbian
character. Layla, say it with me. Layla is a lesbian. She can't come.
She can't come. She doesn't really appear to like men. And I haven't seen her so alive until she was in that cabaret. What is it? I always want to say cabaret. Burlesque show.
The burlesque show. Just smoking a joint out of a woman's coochie.
Yeah, I love that for her.
Good for her.
She deserves that and more. Layla, if you're listening to this show, I think we've solved the orgasm problem.
Yeah, actually know that if a girl went all up in there, things would be figured out. I actually think I think there are a couple other women here who would be better off with a woman. I think Taylor
100%.
Frankie Paul could live a much fuller life without a man.
Yes. She would have her emotional needs met. She would just be living her best life.
Yeah, I also think Jen, because I think Jen and Zach both may just be gay.
I don't know. I do think there have been the rumors of Whitney and her husband just being in a full lavender marriage.
Yeah, well, he certainly. I don't know about Whitney. Whitney, I can't totally see with a woman, but
I don't think that Whitney would ever allow herself. She's too Brie Vanderkamp
yeah,
coded.
yeah. But her husband, I mean, it was kind of unspoken that he was on gay Tinder when he was on Tinder.
100%.
Yeah,
But now he's given a beautiful speech at a dinner party, so
at
we'll
a
just
Mom Talk Bake Off dinner
uh-huh.
party. It
Yes,
was so
yes.
beautiful. People were crying. No, but so Layla. So there's been some drama online because
Hmm.
Layla got a lot of heat because she decided to do a pregnancy roulette
Oh,
good
brutal.
morning over breakfast party event, not
And
event,
you
like
know
a
it wasn't
game.
her. You know it was production, but you know
So
they chose the person for a reason. And Layla would be the one that's like, "Sure."
yeah, and so she said on TikTok that that production asked her to do that, because she was getting a lot of heat for like doing that when Demi, it's like such a big thing for her. So
Yeah.
I thought this was insanely fucked up
No matter
because
what, it's fucked up.
these women like pregnancy is such a big deal, and also people want to come out about that when they're ready and when the baby is also healthy. Like they there's a reason you don't talk about these things until a certain point, because like it's important to make sure that their bodies are like doing everything that they need to, and they want to be in the they want to be able to choose the most like perfect place to reveal that information to their friends.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily know if these women believe in body autonomy, so,
That's true,
this might
actually.
just
You
be
bring up
another representation of that, but, I mean, even without taking out like, Demi's having infertility issues, Macy's having infertility issues, like, also there have been Michaela's been sexually abused in the past, like, there's just so many layers to fucked upness about this, like, there's no world in which this was, like, a funny or fun game to play.
No.
But also, why couldn't the women who were pregnant have they weren't peeing in front of each other, just stick it under a sink.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even
What?
think about that.
Just stick it under a sink. Oh, negative.
Wait,
Why did they have to pee on it?
I had not thought about that until this very moment, Chelsea.
Because that's what I kept waiting for. I was like, oh, it's going to be all the big reveal at the end of the season is like, oh, I tricked you. But no, they literally went into, they were like, oh, no, I wasn't ready to reveal it. I guess I'll have to urinate on this production pee stick.
Wow. Wow, you've really blown my mind. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I
And
mean, as someone who was having their husband make full pretend cocktails for the first like 3 months I was pregnant, so
yeah.
people didn't know, there are workarounds, certainly.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew someone who did this. Someone brought like champagne to a party, but it was in a champagne that they put into a regular champagne bottle and like corked it, or like did like a makeshift cork. So then when they're like, "Oh, I'm just drinking that," like, and you just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like you sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and I did feel really bad for it to me that she had to like read that they also made her read
She was the one that
the
got it, and
pregnancy
she
positive
was
tests.
shaking, and this is when I mean, I thought she was just horrid this whole season,
Yeah,
but, like, I felt so bad for her. Like, that is just literally traumatic for her to be the one that, like, reads that result and, like, that's all she wants is to read a result like that.
yeah, yeah. It was really not good. It was
Not
not
good.
good.
No.
Something I will say about these ladies too, that and this is also back to like the MAGA Maha culture,
Mhm.
is that in in partnership with that, a lot of these women like to lean into like therapy buzzwords, and it doesn't make any
Ugh.
sense to me. The connection there doesn't make sense to me because like they are being indoctrined into this like system that has no, like we're talking about, no body autonomy.
Mhm.
but they're allowed to use the words like trigger and like gaslight and like my perspective, my like there's all these like it's like they can be so empathic, but at the same time be so like indoctrinated into a conservative system. I think it's so it doesn't go together to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that they are both. Like I think they've been indoctrinated into a system, but I think also I do think that some of them are very empathetic and have been through like a tremendous amount in their own life, right? Like I think that sometimes through that experience you're able then to gain a better understanding for other people. It's just you're not necessarily able to like apply that to a larger context in a way. It's kind of like goes back to the conversation we had around the books that we were when we were recapping the books of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can understand the concept within the context of this world of this single book, but then like it takes that extra level of critical thinking to then be able to like apply it elsewhere.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know if these women necessarily have the best grasp on the English language in general. I love the use of their joining words. My favorite was, "What was the purpose between having us all here?" Like they just really are any of those like joining
Right.
words. It's
Yeah,
like a
they don't.
roulette of words that could come, but Demi in particular reminds me so much of like a toxic guy on Bravo who has learned the phrase gaslight or narcissist and then is
Completely.
going to like use that to like intellectualize their point to be like, well, you're wrong because I'm smarter than you.
Completely. She can't see her fault in anything.
No.
No, not at all. So we have this big so Taylor once again Taylor doesn't go on that trip, but then we do our final kind of business meeting. I find it so funny that they vote on who's in Mom Talk and not. And the thing is, like, they're all on the internet. So I don't really understand what the purpose, because there's not a Mom Talk account, right? It's like they
No,
all
it's
have their own
just
accounts. So like they
yeah.
can still TikTok, but they aren't in Mom Talk. I just don't understand the importance sometimes of being actually in Mom Talk, because later I felt so dumb when they were voting about whether Taylor, who was it? Whether Whitney could be in Mom Talk.
Uh-huh.
It was essentially revealed that this whole time Whitney and Moanda had not been in Mom Talk this whole season. And I'm like, okay, but like they filmed this whole show with you and they're like dancing on front facing camera. Like, isn't that
It's like
Mom Talk?
tryouts. It's like rushing a sorority. It's very He-Man Woman's Hater Club, you know?
Yes, completely. Like it doesn't, I'm like, wait, we're still voting? I,
And
I,
I
I,
mean,
I threaded,
Cheshire grin on Whitney as she's like, she has weaseled her way in once
I
again.
know she's like, well, Michaela hates me, but everyone else loves me now.
I did turn on the one single person who voted for me initially, but I was able to play this game of chess perfectly where, sure, I threw that person under the bus, but I'm back in.
And once again, she's back in, and what does that mean? I think we'll never know. I don't understand. I threaded this, and you guys really let it flop, but I gotta say it here that Mom Talk, like America, is sometimes a democracy.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. One thing I wanted to make sure that I said before we go is, and I want to give this person credit. This is from
Oh yes, I
Co-
have some quick fire questions too at the end.
okay, cosmiccoven.co on Instagram posted all of the Mormon wives' astrological signs, and nothing makes more sense to me that this is like an almost entirely Gemini and Pisces cast with a few
Oh wow!
outliers.
And you're a
So
Gemini, right?
I'm a Gemini. Yep,
Yeah.
and it's Gemini season. But Taylor's a Gemini, Macy's a Pisces, Layla's a Pisces, Jesse's a Gemini, Michaela's a Pisces, Jen is a Gemini, and then we have the outliers. Miranda is an Aries, Whitney is a Taurus, which nothing makes more sense in that I've heard, and then Demi is a Leo, which nothing has made more sense. And
That makes
then
a lot of sense to me.
there are two double Leos, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no. Zach is a double Leo. And then Brett, Demi's husband, is a double Sagittarius, which, woo!
That's unfortunate because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Sagittarius and Brian's an Aries. That's them.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny to me though because I like you. I think are probably maybe one of the only Geminis I know. Like, I don't
You're one of the only Sags I know.
see, I think it's a we're like an
We're an
odd
odd
mix.
coupling,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, the signs that you just read, like, I know Pisces, I have one Pisces friend, and then I have one Gemini friend. Like, I don't those are signs that are so far fetched from my world. It's so weird.
See, before Dr. Bald, I only dated Aries, but they were March Aries. So I just needed to go back in time a couple months because he is a March Pisces. And then, isn't it so strange? My real husband, a bald Pisces, my work husband, Donnie, a bald Pisces.
Oh,
I've
that
got
is
a type.
you gotta type. Oh, so Donnie is okay. Donnie is the second Pisces. Then I know. I don't.
But he's
But
a Pisces Aries cusp, and I think it depends on, he's a little,
he's a little Aries. Yeah.
mhm.
My life is the majority of my life is Sag, Scorpio, Capricorn.
Mm,
Like my family is that, and then most of my friends are that. Like from essentially end of October through end of January is every person I know's birthday in New York City.
that's so funny.
Yeah. Um, and then Brian is an Aries. But then like outside of that, like it's you guys, you and Donnie, and then I have one friend from college who is a Gemini as well. But
Yeah, my family, there are 3 Geminis, all like my grandma, my dad, and me, all Geminis 5 days apart. And then my brother is a Leo and my mom is a Cancer. So summer birthday, just summer birthday season.
Cancers I do love, but I don't know many cancers. But I am Cancer is my rising, and so I think I
I can
deeply
see that.
identify cancers.
Yeah. I love Cancers. Like, again, my mom, they are a little, I have to be very careful around Cancers because we vibe. Talking shit is my love language, and Cancers are very sensitive. So I have to like realize that not everybody is receiving
Yeah,
being shit talked as love. I'm
I
intending it that way, but they are not receiving it that
I think
way.
my Sag balances that
Mhm.
because
Whereas
Sages
my
are
Gemini
catty.
is just like
Yeah.
times 2.
Um. So last thing, and then if you do you have time, what time do you need to be out?
I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah, I
good,
can.
cool. So let's chat a little bit about this Layla sit down. And
Mhm.
then we'll move on to some listener questions. You guys sent some questions over on Instagram, so we'll go through some of those together. Layla, also a reminder that you can follow Dumpster Dive on YouTube at youtube.com/dumpster dive pod, and you can see us doing this chat
And
here
if you're a
at the time.
YouTube girly, can you give I Am the Cute One podcast a follow?
Yes,
Because we
of
have things in the
course.
works, but you know, we'd like to be growing our audience over there. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And follow Ono Chels. Um, okay, so back to the show though. So yeah, so Layla, kind of our least catty kind of gets involved. I think production played her this season a little bit.
Hmm.
Like they were like, she just was kind of like down for everything. And then as this is all airing, she's looking a little crazy, I
Well,
think.
even the things like showing Taylor the side group chat she was a part of,
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. She was
and
she was
like,
the messenger in a lot of things that she
yeah.
didn't need
But
to
you've
be.
got to give it to Taylor. She never ratted on Layla. The entire season, she never said who her source was. There was a couple of different times where like Taylor said something and they're like, "Well, who told you that?" And then it cuts to Layla with like baby deer eyes looking at the camera, and
Yeah.
Taylor never gave her up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. She's not a rat.
Mm-mm.
She would survive in the mob wife's world. So Layla sits down with Maurice, whatever the fuck his name is, and after he goes skiing and has a gallon of tequila, and
Mm-hmm.
he looks like he just smells like
Oh, so
shit.
bad. It's like just
You know,
ugh.
he's been like outside all day, and now you smell like outside on him
You
and
smell outside and like
tequila.
last night's tequila coming out of his pores.
Ugh, it's just like swampy, you know.
Mm-hmm. A
Yeah.
musty scent in a bad way.
So this whole season, we haven't really spoken about it at all, but there's been this rumor that Demi and him hooked up. Demi, Jesse, Layla, and Michaela and Jen all went to Vanderpump Villa.
Mm-hmm.
An odd group to me because I don't think the stars were there.
No.
You know what I
I
mean?
think probably like they're it was like we could get these 5 people or 2 for the same price, 2 of the
Yeah,
stars.
Taylor and Michaela and Macy. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, totally. So they go allegedly. Chelsea and I have not watched that television program, so if you guys have intel on that, please let us know. I'm not really interested in. I'm not going to watch it. It
Mm-mm.
does not interest me. But apparently, Demi gets a little handsy with Maurice. And so what the whole season people are like alluding to that, and she's like, that nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. They have this sit down with Layla and Maurice, and what comes out though, that he denies that he did anything outside of just flirting with Demi, but what he did do was fuck Jesse.
Which is crazy.
Crazy. So someone saw them at Tom Tom, which the fact that Tom Tom permeated this really bothered me. I was like, can we not? Can we not?
It's a real like all roads lead back to situation.
I know everyone so much goes down at Tom Tom. I hate that. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that the Toms got airtime in this godforsaken television program.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he reveals that they did make out at Tom Tom.
Oh, I just had a spooky thought, Tom. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
This
God,
is
what?
besides
Do you think
keeping us.
do you think the Toms are involved?
No. But then I was thinking like, oh, I could maybe the Toms will start dating people, and I was like, no, that doesn't track. And then you know who's gonna end up dating one of these people? Fucking Craig Conover.
Oh, this is right up Craig Conover's.
He is 100, especially with his new rebrand. People, I encourage you to go in his comment section and see which comments he's liking, because they are the ones calling him their MAGA king. But this is one of these girls is about to be Craiged.
Who would be though? Because the single ones I don't think would go for him. Like to me, the one that jumps out as the most him would be. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I could see a Jesse. I could see a Layla. I could see him going much younger.
No, I don't think Layla would do it. I think Layla is a little better at her core than that.
Did you see the man she's currently with?
You know, she's not Trumpy, and I just want her to stay that way, you know?
Yeah, but he's sneaky. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
This type of person, though, is the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's revealed that well, according to him, this all went down, and we are left with a cliffhanger to be continued, which I think, once again, we said this before, a very genius production move. Do it to be continued, so we have to come back for the next season, and not have a reunion, and of them having this big sit down dinner where it's revealed. We get flashes of both Jessie and her husband crying and upset, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens.
So my conspiracy theory is I think that Demi showed us all season long that she came to play and she thought she was smarter than production and she was going to have these other storylines. Now, apparently some of the girls went on the Vial.
I can't, yeah.
Yeah, that abomination of a program that just takes, suckles at the teat, etc. But they went on that program and they said something along the lines of Demi was like planning a fake storyline about her hooking up with Dakota, which is wild if true. Like she was completely trying to plant this fake storyline.
Oh yes, I did see this. Yeah.
So if that's the case, and if we know that she was also trying to fix or trying to control what was being said on camera or off camera, because there was an interesting moment, I think she was away on the trip and they were about to go skinny dipping, and she says on the phone to her husband like, well, cameras are still up, so we're gonna do whatever, basically being like, shut your fucking mouth, we'll talk about this when cameras go down. Then obviously we get the hot mic moment. I think two separate conspiracy theories, or maybe both. I think that maybe she's the one who submitted the Sinner Sunday thing about her husband to give herself something to talk about and to deflect, because I also think that, because we see in the flash forward or the to be continued that Jesse is saying this is 100% Demi. I could also see that Demi has teamed up with the Vanderpump Villas Jax Taylor to say he fucked Jesse when really it's the two of them in cahoots.
I like it. I could see it. I mean, there's
some stretches that we've got to go on, but she was clearly ready to be a reality self-producer star, you know?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah. I like it. I think we should roll with it. And you heard that here and not on Vial Files, okay, people? I can't stand Vial Files. Okay, let's quickly go through some of these questions. Thank you guys for putting questions in. Once again, make sure to follow Chelsea at OhNoChels on Instagram. Check out I Am the Cute One, the podcast. You can follow me at the Tom Hamlet. So first we have a question from Halsey _ and they say, if you could spend about an hour, oh, she's just asking us to spend an hour on the Taylor Frankie Paul family. Well, we didn't spend an hour on it, but we have been recording for a bit, so you'll get some good
We
content.
dragged them for filth.
Yeah. Chase, Jesse's husband, is the Joe Benigno of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yeah, I think he's a little messier than that, though. Is his name Chase? I thought Chase was the other guy.
Don't you remember Chase? Because he chases clout.
Oh, right. You're right. You're right.
Chase seems like an evil person.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think
There's
he's
a darkness in his eyes.
Yeah, I don't think he's as innocuous as Joe Benigno. Does Demi have? Zoe asks, does Demi have leader of mom talk material?
I think she does, or did, maybe no longer, but I think she just went too hard. Like, I think her campaigning, she was not sneaky enough or subtle enough to usurp, because that's ultimately, it's not just gaining power, it's also like overthrowing the system, overthrowing the government that is Taylor Frankie Paul, which can be done because the leader of their sometimes democracy is, you know, often sidetracked or distracted. But I think that her campaigning was too fast, too hard out of the gate. And then I think she told on herself of her true motives. And I think her turning on Jesse really kind of like keyed everybody in of like, oh, this is a person who does not have my best interest. She's trying to like basically make this show Survivor, where she kicks off a person each season so that she can like amass their contract money.
Yeah, I agree. I think she does have that in her. I just don't know that we want it necessarily.
Yeah, she's a Leo.
She is a Leo. Does Miranda have potential on this show? For a girl who came back for clout, she was too quiet. I don't know. I think they'll probably keep her around in an ancillary role, but I don't know that she will be full. Like, I think she would be a friend of.
Which I actually really like that they introduce this like rushing element of mom talk, because that allows for some outside characters to come in under the guise of like, are they mom talk material? And that way they can kind of have a rotating list of friends of that aren't part of that center square, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I did really like that she and the girlfriend of Chase seem to have a good relationship. Like, I loved the quiet girl power of her. Like, Chase is losing his like damn mind at that Halloween party, and
I agree.
Miranda and the girlfriend were like hugging and comforting each other. I really liked that.
I agree. That could have been really weird, and a lot of people would be. And that relationship ended not that long ago, and they're on such good terms.
And she was upset. Like, when she was talking about it, she was like, "We have a great co-parenting relationship. Like, I don't want this to fuck it up."
Yeah, I completely agree. Wait. Demi's husband has been on multiple reality shows, ? Are they really that thirsty? 1000%.
Yeah. He's sinister too.
So wasn't he was with someone who was on Roll Sick, right?
He married Angie K.
Harrington.
Angie
Harrington.
H. Yes, yeah, the bad one.
And then they got a divorce. And then
he met Demi for the first time when she was 9.
Never forget. We have some things about Vile Files about how Demi pitched the cheated storyline. That is crazy. That really is so crazy to me. There's some questions here about dad talk. We didn't talk about dad talk. I don't know what there's to say, y'all, but dad talk is the boys trying to do dances as well. Something I will say about the show that I find fascinating is they have made so much content, these women, that they are able to fill every transitional scene with a TikTok of them. Guys, the television program, this television was, the episodes are 50 minutes, 55 minutes long.
Yeah.
10 episodes. That's like 10 hours of content. That's longer than a Bravo episode.
Yeah.
And in between every scene, there is a TikTok. So we probably watched like 100 TikToks in this season. Like, That is insane, the amount of content these women are
I
putting
love
out.
those transitions, and I love that it gives you the moment in time. It also does a good job of, like, reminding you what's going on. Like, which, I mean, I know is dumb, but, like, especially as somebody who, like, literally binged this series in a matter of, like, 2.5 days,
Yeah.
it was just so funny to see the TikToks that were being posted at that time.
Yes, I completely agree. Well, Chelsea, that brings us to the end. This was much needed and a blast.
It
So
was so fun. Thank you for having me on to talk about these women, and I hope you're right. I hope that we get to see them on our screens again sooner than later.
I think we will. I think these women are business professionals. They want to work
They are
and
clocking in.
they're clocking in. And I got to shout out the editors of this show. Y'all are doing some really inspired programming here.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea, once again, thank you for being here, and let everyone know where they can follow you, listen to you, if you guys have anything fun coming up, all that.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at OhNoChels and then listen to my podcast, I Am the Cute One. I co host it with Donnie. Go follow him at Real Donniewood. And coming up, so we do Mondays, we do like old, at least 10-year-old movies from our childhoods and teen years. And then on Fridays, we do TGIF pop culture roundups. And coming up, it is my birthday month coming up. So it will be Chelchella 2025, where I get to pick all of the movies in the month of June and torture Donnie. And Tom may be coming on, fingers crossed. You might be hearing a familiar voice
You may.
sooner
You
than
may.
you think.
Yeah. And then you can follow me at the Tom Hamlet. Make sure to subscribe to the Dumpster Dive YouTube channel at at youtube.com/dumpster dive pod. We go live here every Thursday to chat about Bravo stuff. And lots of fun content coming at y'all. And this episode, if you're listening to it, is in video form on the YouTube channel. So go check that out. Chelsea, thank you for being here. Y'all,
Thanks.
be a sinner or be a saint. We love you all. Say bye, listeners. Bye, guys.
Bye.